Welcome back, everybody. This is the Take Two podcast with your Frame brothers. I am Jameson Frame. This is Reed Frame, my brother, of course. We will be talking all things NFL football as always. Glad to have you guys here as always. Leave us a like or a follow if you enjoyed this video. We're always looking for feedback on things to talk about, things you like that we talk about, things you like that we do, things you don't like, even constructive criticism we're always willing to take. So any feedback you guys are willing to offer us, we will gladly take and grow from there. So without further ado, we'll jump right in. Another good week of football to watch, as always. You have any big takeaways or I guess anything big you saw this weekend that you want to talk about right off the rip?
Jane Daniels is him, dude.
Jaden Daniels looks electric. I am as a Commanders bandwagon fan this year as I have been before the season even started. I'm loving what's going on over there in Washington. So exciting stuff to watch, exciting future ahead for that team. So it's really cool what they're doing over there.
Most definitely. Yeah. Jaden Daniels, like you said, electric, I think is the best way to describe his play style. I mean, he rushes. I finally watched just him, right? When I throw in red zone, this time I was like really paying attention to Jaden Daniels. If you watch him, he runs for -1 a lot, and then he runs for a touchdown about the exact same amount as he runs for -1. So, I
Right.
mean, fantasy wise, I'm loving it. But it's just funny to me because he'll scramble out of the pocket and then he'll go for a -1. I just find it's not funny, but I find it funny. So
Yeah, he's rushing around like what 12 carries a game, something like that. I think it's
yeah.
kind of it's ballpark somewhere on there, which has decreased from week one where I think he was like 16 to 18 carries, somewhere around that range, which is ridiculous. The
Mm.
one positive there is I think he's finally getting comfortable in the offense and just at the NFL level. I think the game's starting to slow down for him a little bit, which is something you always like to see in a good young quarterback. We saw it with CJ Stroud last year. He was kind of, as the season progressed, he was just getting more comfortable hitting his reads, getting it going. So Cliff Kingsbury's doing a really good job bringing him along and setting him up for success. That's one of the topics we've touched on the last 2 weeks, back to back, is just how much we value a good offensive coordinator or just systems in place for good people to succeed. So uh, good for them for sure.
Definitely. Um, so last week we touched on who the best team in the league was. I want to go through a few teams. I just want to tell you to tell me if they're a contender or a pretender. I think you've heard that before,
Yep,
right? Are they? So first, Chiefs, contender or pretender?
they're a contender. I think they're the team to beat in the NFL right now. Um, it's it surprises me every year that this team, the turnover that they have at different positions because they have to pay certain people to keep them, which is obviously something you have to do. But I think they do a really good job of kind of averaging out those costs, paying people you need to, but then also drafting well and building people up. But the talent that Patrick Mahomes has around him, Travis Kelce decreasing in value. I think he's getting older and he isn't as good as he has been the last couple of years. Young receivers and just not as talented receivers as other teams have, and somehow just always makes it work. It's unbelievable to me. You can never count them out. Didn't think there was a chance they were going to even compete for a Super Bowl this year. I thought there was finally their year that they were going to struggle. Proving me wrong.
Yeah, I 100% agree. My next team is the Vikings, contender or pretender?
I think they're a sneaky contender. Um, I think they could potentially make a deep playoff run if the cards and injuries don't get to them and stuff like that. The defensive team, like schematic that they have going on over there with Brian Flores, I think he'll probably get some head coaching looks this coming off season with some teams, maybe even the Jets and stuff like that. So we'll touch on that probably later. But just the scheme that Kevin O'Connell has put together with that system is very Kyle Shanahan-esque. It's kind of a plug and play offense for basically any quarterback that can deliver
Mhm.
the football on time and read the defense well enough. And he has plenty of weapons on that offense. So I think the Vikings are for real. Sam Darnold isn't even that great of a quarterback, but he's getting the job done. Imagine if they had an elite quarterback, like what they could be doing. So
Definitely. Commanders, contender or pretender?
contender, absolutely. I mean, kind of a bandwagon fan for this season for me. So I love what they're doing over there. We just touched on Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels. They are electric together. The defense is a very big weak spot for them, but luckily for them, their offense is good enough that they can just boat race teams and still come out ahead. So um, I love them.
All right. Now that we got past like the high records, now I'm gonna go into teams I thought were gonna be better this year and aren't doing as well. Right. So my first team I'm gonna choose is the Lions, contender or pretender.
The Lions are for real, regardless of their record and their stumbles that they've had recently. I still think if they don't win the division, they'll be just barely behind the Packers. So I still think they could win the division.
So you think the Packers are gonna win the division?
Sorry, the Vikings. I
Oh,
had
okay. Okay.
that's my bad, my bad.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
the
gonna say,
Vikings are going to make a
whoa.
big push for it. Packers are going to be sneaky good, maybe sneak in as a wild card. That division is just tough in general, but uh, yeah, Lions are going to be probably the highest wild card seed, if not pull out the victory of that division. So I think they'll make playoffs as well.
Definitely. This one might touch a little, or is gonna touch home for me and you. Seahawks, pretenders or contenders?
Um, my heart wants me to say contenders, but I think they're pretenders at this point. As much as I like what they're doing, and they've won some really good games, and I think they easily could have won that Giants game. I'm hoping it was kind of a fluke game, but I don't know if it's injuries going on right now, or if they're still just kind of figure it out, or if they just don't have the team put together the way schematically they want to. Like I said before the season started, I think that this is a building block season, so I don't envision them. If they make the playoffs, it'll be as a low wild card seed, but I don't see them making the playoffs.
For my opinion on this is I think this season really comes down to this Thursday night. I think to see how we do against the 49ers, who everyone says is a powerhouse. I don't know how they're 2-3 right now. I think we're starting to see Brock Purdy fall apart without CMC, stuff like that. Just not a very good team right now. But I still think that main roster is there, and the 49ers are still a great team through their struggles. So I
Yeah.
really think this Thursday night is going to show me as a Seahawks fan what I need to see for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good game too. I think both teams are dealing with some injuries. Obviously, McCaffrey and the Seahawks are dealing with some injuries on defense. Um, I think it's gonna be a brawl this week Thursday night game. I think it's gonna be a really good Thursday night game for Amazon Prime. So I guess good for them. So
Yeah. All right, this is my last one.
is it what?
Steelers,
Oh, it's a
pretenders or contenders?
oh, they're obviously pretenders. The team that offense is atrocious. I don't care what anybody tells you. I know a buddy of mine who's been watching the podcast is probably gonna text me tomorrow telling me to stop ripping on the Steelers like I do every week. Um, I have no faith in this offense whatsoever, and we will be seeing Russell Wilson playing, if not starting, coming up here. I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after, but Justin Fields either needs to show something more than what he's doing. Not to his discredit. I mean, he is moving the offense. They can't put up points on the board. This offense cannot score at a high rate, and that is what you need to do to win this league. The defense is doing everything they possibly can to keep them in the game. So the Steelers defense is not a problem whatsoever. But this offense has to get it going.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You mentioned the defense. They're playing the best they can do. I think that's the entire reason why the Steelers team even has the record it does, right?
TJ
So
Watt looks amazing.
yeah,
You stop that.
TJ Watt looks like the best defensive player in this league.
Yeah, absolutely.
I Here we're going now. I'm moving along because you gave me an idea. JJ Watt or TJ Watt, both in their primes. Whatever you want to say.
Oh, this
TJ.
is this is funny. My wife just asked me about this exact same question. She asked if JJ Watt and TJ Watt played the same position. And I'm like, kind of, but not really, right? Because JJ
Yeah.
Watt was more of like a true 4-3 to a 3-4 defensive end.
Mhm.
He's on the field for all three downs for stopping the run and rushing the passer. Whereas TJ Watt is more like a pass rushing specialist, where he is just really good at pass rushing, but he's also able to do the other things. He's just not as effective as run stopping as JJ was, but TJ
Mhm.
is way better of a pass rusher than JJ was. So it's kind of a give and take there. I would rather have TJ Watt in this day and age of football with passing. I'll take TJ Watt every day of the week.
Yeah. So I completely agree with you with this day and age. It's a pass heavy league these days. TJ Watt, you said JJ Watt played on all three downs with today's schemes that are being run, TJ Watt's an all three down player as well because they're always
Well,
passing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, like, yes, of course he's a three down player because he's your best player on the team, right? But
right.
JJ Watt could do it all. Your TJ Watt's not the best run stuffer. He can run stuff because he's an amazing player, but he's not. That's not his full job. He's like you said, pass rushing specialist. So in this day and age, TJ Watt is better than JJ Watt, is what I'm saying. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'd rather have JJ Watt, if I'm being honest.
Really? That's
J
just because you can throw them inside and out. Is that kind of where you're going
because
with?
I feel like JJ Watt could play anywhere on that defense line. I feel like
Oh,
I could
well, yeah.
I feel like I could stick JJ Watt on nose. I could feel like I could stick him at quick at rush. I feel like I can throw him in at an edge and have him be like an outside linebacker or an edge rusher. I think JJ Watt is a lot more flexible just because he can stuff the run. He's a little bit bigger as well.
Right, bigger. Yeah, I was gonna go
So
there.
just with how I were to run a defense based on my Madden and NCAA experiences, because I'm the best ever. But based on how I would run my defense, I would rather have JJ Watt. But I do think TJ Watt is the better player, if that makes sense.
I hear what you're saying. I think JJ Watt, the best way I can describe it, I think JJ Watt was more of a balanced player. He
Hmm.
was better at stuffing the run and pass rushing as a whole, balanced wise. He was better at both than TJ Watt is, but TJ Watt is a much better pass rusher just solely. He
Yeah.
also TJ Watt has the ability to drop back into coverage because he's a little faster, smaller, slightly better at coverage, stuff like that. So you have a little more versatility with him, what you can do. But just when it comes down to put your hand in the ground and stop the run or stop the pass, I mean, balance wise, JJ Watt is the far better player all around.
JJ Watt's up there with one of the best
He was just
players
a
of all time.
it's just I don't know though that family is something else. I mean, Derek Watt and fullback. I mean,
He
you
chose the wrong
get
position. He
he
chose
get
the
he
wrong
get
position.
lost in the wash at a fullback. So there's not a lot of glory there.
Name me three fullbacks in the NFL. Actually, four, because I could name you three. Name me
Michael
four.
Burton, Kyle Juszczyk, Alec Ingold. Um,
Ravens.
yeah, Patrick Ricard.
Patrick Ricard, yeah. Yeah, I knew you could name three because I got three right away.
Yeah, that's three I could name right away. I couldn't think of Ricard. I was picturing Ricard. I just couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, that point was fullbacks are a dying breed. Uh, really, Kyle
You can
used.
use a tight end for it, really.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah. Now I gotta ask you, what is the hardest position in football in the NFL? In the NFL,
Corner.
I would agree.
The reason I say that is how many look at the length of career as a starting corner. Your good ones are there for what, 10 years, but you have corners like Josh Norman is a good example, right? I think am I getting him right?
Josh
Carolina.
Norman,
Yeah, okay. He had
Atlanta. He was
uh
for the Panthers, correct?
I said
Carolina.
Carolina, did I?
I,
Panther?
you might have said
I
Carolina.
may have misspoke.
I
He
made a
broke
misheard.
out on the Panthers. Then he went to
Redskins.
that sounds right. And then he bounced around to a couple different teams after that. My point being, he had like a 2 year stretch where he was like the best corner in the NFL, and then he just like disappeared off the face of the earth. Like it was like he forgot how to play football, and I just don't know if that's just like the lifespan of a corner. Like you're there, and then you're just that quickly out of it as well because it's that hard to be good for so long. But I feel like you see like that example all the time where you have corners making a big name for themselves, and then just like disappear. Like L'Jarius Sneed on the Chiefs for the last couple of years has been really good. This year, I don't feel like you heard him. I mean, he's on a bad team to be fair with him, so that's probably part of it. But I feel like corners just kind of disappear very quickly.
100%. So if I wanted you to say corner, you're falling right into my trap, right?
Oh, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. But who is
Kicker.
the
Kicker's the hardest. Sorry.
who is the best corner in the league?
Oh wow. I think you know what I'm gonna say, so I'm trying to think of something else.
Yeah.
I'd say Sauce Gardner.
Is that who you think I wanted you to say?
No, that's actually what I was gonna say. That's
Oh,
the first name that came in my head when you said who's the best corner in the NFL.
I think it's Patrick Surtain.
He is very good. He's locking down corners like or wide receivers like crazy this year
Yeah,
too.
he is. He is playing
He had that
in.
hundred
He's playing
yard
lights
pick
out.
six this week.
Yeah.
I mean that's it's. I'll give you that one. I think Jalen Ramsey's overrated.
Oh, 100. Jalen Ramsey 3 years ago was insane. I think Jalen
This
Ramsey.
is this is a similar thing of what I was just talking about with Josh Norman.
Yeah,
Difference is I feel like Jalen Ramsey just keeps his name relevant by doing stuff and saying stuff and like he just
100%.
his play isn't great. I mean, he's still on the higher end of corners in the league, but not worth the
Most
money.
definitely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
No, he's definitely overpaid. Definitely agree with you there. But for me, I think Pat Surtain is number one, and I think Sauce Gardner is up there. I think he's two or three. I think Jalen Johnson is super underrated.
I don't think I've heard that dude's name once this season, which
That
is not a bad thing.
so my philosophy for a corner, this is a little Coach Reed frame over here, coaching
Yeah.
philosophy. If I don't hear an offensive lineman's name or a corner's name, they're doing their job.
What position do you want to hear your name the most?
Do I want to hear their name the most?
Yep.
Probably my edge rusher.
Ah, dang it. I was gonna say that. I was hoping you were gonna say something like wide receiver or quarterback or something.
No,
I was gonna say defensive alignment.
I probably want my edge rusher.
Yeah,
I
because then you're getting if you're getting your name called five times as a defensive lineman, you're wrecking the game.
you Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald, his like rookie season, he would before he was getting double teamed every play. Aaron Donald was wreaking havoc on offensive linemen.
Yeah, he
If you,
was
yeah,
we'll circle back to corner, but the my favorite thing about Aaron Donald and just really good defensive linemen in general is when they don't record a single stat in a game and people are like, oh, he didn't even have a good game, but he was just like double teamed or triple teamed the entire game. So he just affected the game in way bigger impact than anybody realizes without recording a single stat. And that was just Aaron Donald for years. Every time he was on the field, they always just allocated two offensive linemen to him and just said, we're not letting Aaron Donald beat us. We'll let somebody else beat us.
yes.
And that is
Uh,
just insane respect.
there is a super famous pic of Aaron Donald with the Seahawks blocking him. You know exactly what I'm talking about. His helmet is off, and I think there's three offensive linemen, and he's ripping through it. He's getting through a triple team, and you're that. All right, I'm about to use some new gen. I don't know if Jameson's gonna understand this word.
Oh
That
boy.
has some serious aura to it, man.
I know. Okay. I knew that. Not that old.
Yeah, but Aaron Donald, I think, all right, this might be the new gen of me again. I grew up watching Aaron Donald. I think Aaron Donald's the best defensive player of all time.
Without having seen like Lawrence Taylor play
Mhm.
firsthand, like Reggie White play, I'm trying to think of like who would be the other. Like Deion Sanders is another really good one. I don't know if he's up there like with the best. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis were my two favorite defensive players to watch growing up. That Ravens defense was something else. But yeah, I mean he's probably the most feared for sure. I feel like. I mean, he's the respect that we were just talking about him just getting absolutely wiped out of games because they didn't want him to be the one to beat him is ridiculous. I don't even know if they had schemes set up like that back when like Lawrence Taylor was playing, or if they were just like, "This is your guy. Good luck."
Yeah. Yeah, again, me and you didn't get to watch Lawrence Taylor play.
Right.
And I think that's where you have the advantage over me. You got to see Ed Reed and Ray Lewis play. The only really good players I got to watch was a little bit of JJ Watt. I got to watch JJ Watt for like 2 years in his prime, and then it was kind of just the downfall, like the Cardinals, JJ Watt I got to see. And I really got to see Aaron Donald in his prime, and that's the player I really watched as a Seahawks fan. I got to see him twice a year, absolutely cook Russell Wilson and wreak havoc. But I truly think Aaron Donald is the best defensive player of all time.
I don't think you're far off. I'd have to look at a sheet of just like defensive players all time and see. Who else would even compare? I mean, it's most recency bias for people like us who haven't seen other people, so I can't really argue with you right about it right now without having other information to go off of. But
Mhm.
he's definitely up there. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Let's circle back to corners. Finish up talking about kind of the top corners in the NFL, and then we'll branch off into something else that I wanted to bring up and kind of get your thoughts on. So, corner wise, you're saying Patrick Surtain's your number one.
Yes.
I guess give me your top five in any order. Let's start there.
Ooh, okay. I like this. I like this game. In any order?
Any order. You don't have
All
to
right.
rank them one through five. It's just
Place or I always call him PS2 because that's his nickname.
gotcha.
All right. Pat Surtain, Sauce
Okay.
Gardner.
Yep.
Almost put my finger up and said Devon Witherspoon. We're not going to do that.
That'd be a homer pick.
Yeah, I would. All right. Sauce Gardner,
This is a tough question.
Jair Alexander, Jalen Johnson. Hang on. My mind's moving around the league right now.
Hmm.
I'm missing a big name guy, and I just thought of him. And
I just had one too. I know which one you're missing, and by listening to the names you were saying, I lost my guy.
hang on.
Oh, AJ Terrell. That'd be
That
they'd
doesn't.
be. I put him in my top five.
Is it AJ Terrell?
I'm the Falcon.
Who am I? Yeah, I'm the Falcons.
Yeah, it's
Right.
AJ
That's
Terrell.
where AJ Terrell is. Yeah,
He's their best corner.
for sure. I think it is AJ Terrell.
He'd be my top five.
Yeah. AJ Terrell's one of the most under him and Jalen Johnson, but I think that's my top five.
Now, how many of those will stay even top 10 in the next probably 2 years?
Top 10.
Like,
Pat Surtain, I think will.
yep,
Sauce Gardner, I think will.
I would agree.
Who else did I name?
Jalen Johnson, AJ Terrell,
And Jair Alexander.
Tyler Alexander.
I don't think any of those three are in the next 2 years top five.
Not top five. I think some of them might hang around a top 10. I'm not a big Jair Alexander fan. I do agree that he's pretty dominant right now.
Right now. Yeah.
I could see him having a short cycle of elite play before he drops off really quickly. Same with Jalen Johnson. I feel like it's a short window of really high play, but then he's going to fall off quickly. And then AJ Terrell, I feel like is already dropping off. I feel like
Yeah.
last year was kind of his peak season. I think this year he's just already. I mean, it could be just like a one season dip. It might next year might come up and be good again, but we might already be seeing the decline of AJ Terrell.
I agree. 100%. Corner corner is a very interesting position to me. Usually you have two to three on a normal basis, you have two to three on the field at once, right? That
You have two
depends
for
on,
sure, and then three is becoming more of a norm and like a base
yeah.
defense.
You have three on the field at once, and with how long they are good, definitely see why we're seeing top 10 picks being used on corners now these days. So,
Yeah, I mean, especially with the corners breaking out right away. Your Sauce Gardner, your Reek Woolen in his rookie year had a good year. Devin Witherspoon in his rookie year had a good year. Derek
Derek Stingley,
Stingley had a good rookie year. I mean, you can get such high level play from these players right off the rip and basically bound right into their prime and instantly is huge. Because then you get them on a rookie deal, and then like basically what the Chiefs did with Snead, right? You use
hmm
him for 4 years on his rookie deal. You ship him out, make somebody else pay for him, and hopefully he starts. Well, not hopefully, but he may end up starting to decline after that point.
And this is a little prediction from Reed Frame, prediction time. This year's corner, that's going to be the Sauce Gardner or the Derek Stingley that's going to affect right away. And then I think is going to be on a steady decline after his rookie deal is Travis Hunter to me.
So you're essentially like he'll come in, be at a high level instantly, and
I
then
think he comes in and he looks dominant for 4 years. And I think I'm not saying he's going to fall off the face of the earth after that fourth year. I just think he'll start slowly declining.
yeah, I could see it. Does he? since you brought up Travis Hunter, if he goes to the Broncos, he said he was there was some trade bait or not trade bait, Jesus. There was some clickbait going around that of a mock draft, and he ended up going to Denver, and he said that he wanted to go to Denver because then he can stay in Colorado. Great, whatever. Does Sean Payton use him both ways?
No, not Sean Payton.
I think Sean Payton's the only coach that would use him both ways.
You think so?
As an offensive minded coach, plus they could put him across from Pat Surtain, so you have two good corners. And then who? I mean, who are their receivers?
I guess I didn't think about that. They don't have a receiver, do they?
Like Sean, that would be like Sean Payton's dream is you lock down your other corner slot, plus you get to use him on offense every now and again. Like Sean Payton would love that.
That's true. Yeah. Now imagine Pat Surtain and Travis Hunter on the same team. It's the 2016, 2017 Broncos all over again.
We were on the Broncos in 2016.
No fly zone, eh? Isn't that, am I getting my dates wrong?
There's who are their corners? You know offhand?
Aqib Talib.
Old man to lead.
Oh, I don't know the other one. Oh, was it Champ? Was it Champ Bailey?
Champ Bailey wasn't in the league in 2016.
I'm looking up the no fly zone defense. I think it was Champ. Maybe I got my dates wrong.
I thought the no-fly zone was the Cardinals.
No, it was the
The like
Broncos.
with Patrick Peterson and Tyro Matthew, and I thought that's who that was the Flynn no-fly zone.
Oh, Charles Harris Jr.
Who?
You don't know who Charles or Chris Harris Jr. Sorry.
There you go.
Chris Harris Jr., Bradley Roby, and Aqib Talib.
Bradley Roby in his prime. Yeah, he was pretty good. Now he's just kind of hanging on for dear life, bouncing around between teams.
So is Aqib Talib. I'm pretty sure he's retired now. But
Yeah, he's gone now. All right, off of corners. Um, do we appreciate what we're watching in Patrick Mahomes? Like, I don't mean to sit here and glaze Patrick Mahomes like any more than he already.
zip it up when you're done.
Yeah, but like he's gonna go down as probably the second best quarterback of all time, second best NFL player of all time, if not the best by the end of his career. Are we like appreciating what he's doing and like how he's playing the game, or is it just that we've almost started resenting him because everybody's like hyping him up so much and like, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna look back on it and tell our kids, like, oh, I got to see Patrick Mahomes play. Like I wish you could watch Patrick Mahomes plays. Like our dad tells us about like Barry Sanders, right? Like I wish you could have seen him play. Like we're probably gonna be saying that about Patrick Mahomes, and if we're just like taking it for granted at this point, it's like, yeah, he just whatever spins around, can make it work with any wide receivers out there. It doesn't matter.
I think it's becoming a expectation for Patrick Mahomes at this point.
That's what I mean. We take him for granted.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
winning with really nothing. I mean, his offensive coordinator, Andy Reid, is insanely good, so that helps, but he's still winning with not a lot of weapons.
Yeah. I as much as I don't want to say it, I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I like the underdog. That's what everyone loves the underdog, right? And Patrick Mahomes is everything but the underdog, right? He's Patrick Mahomes is the furthest thing away from an underdog. So I just think people hate to see people win besides themselves. I think that's another good thing, right? You don't like seeing other people win when it's not you. So yeah, we saw with Tom Brady when Tom Brady was winning a lot of Super Bowls, he received a lot of hate. Patrick Mahomes is a more fun player to watch than Tom Brady. Tom Brady sat in the pocket and threw it 10 yards on the field every once in a while, and then every 20 yards
Yeah,
on the field every once in a while, you know?
that was
So,
annoying.
yeah. But Patrick Mahomes, yeah, we're taking it for granted. It's expected that he's going to be throwing the ball as he's going down, spinning with his left hand while doing a quadratic formula problem, some stuff like that, you know?
Every time I see him make a good play, I just the voice of Chris Collinsworth in my head going, "Wow!" just plays on repeat every time.
Yeah, or my favorite clip is whenever like another quarterback does something like anything remotely good, it's like that's looking quite Mahomey, you know?
Very Mahomes like. Yeah, I do agree that he gets. I mean, granted, he is probably the best player in the NFL.
Yeah,
So I mean, he deserves it, but at the same time, it does get annoying to listen to all the time.
yeah,
It's just too much. I think that's why everybody has started hating him recently. Is it's just in your face all the time. You're constantly hearing about him.
yeah.
Well, now we're gonna look back on it and be like, "Wow, that was a great time to be watching football." I think we have some of the best football right now than
This
ever,
season's good. This
quarterback
season is
wise.
very good.
Like I'd have to. I don't know if it's just recency bias. Probably is the amount of good quarterbacks, like elite level quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Like, has there ever been this many like elite quarterbacks?
How many would you say there are?
Like,
Elite.
well, I'm talking like potential Hall of Fame quarterbacks at like one time, like in their primes.
Name them.
You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. I mean, those five for sure. You could probably talk yourself in. I mean, Jaden Daniels potentially. I mean, we're talking way early in his career. I mean, he's playing if he plays it this same way for the rest of his career, Hall of Fame quarterback.
If he plays this same way for the rest of his career, give me
Right.
Jaden Daniels over Patrick Mahomes.
Right. It's very recent. I'm just saying like this. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just
So
recency bias. We probably always had the same amount every season, and I'm just not thinking about it. Because I mean, you had the Peyton Mannings, the Drew Breeses, the Aaron Rodgers, the Matt Ryans, the Philip Rivers, the Eli Mannings, the you know what I
Joe
mean?
Flacco's.
Right. I mean, you just throw Joe Flacco in there on me.
Dude, he's a dog.
Unreal.
He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, one. I guess so did Aaron Rodgers. So
Is Joe
therefore, Joe
Flacco a Hall of
Flacco is
Fame?
just as good as Aaron Rodgers.
Is Joe Flacco a Hall of Fame quarterback?
No,
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 I
not
think
even
he is.
close. No way.
You don't think he's even close?
I don't even think Eli Manning should make it in the Hall of Fame.
Jameson's Hall of Fame is hard to get in.
Like, what did no?
He won a Super Bowl.
You think Philip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback?
I didn't watch much Philip Rivers, but he didn't win a Super Bowl, and I don't think Philip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Philip Rivers has way more stats compiled than Joe Flacco does.
Really?
Oh yeah, Philip Rivers has like top 10 numbers in certain categories, like passing yards and stuff. I don't know if it's specifically
Top
passing
10 for every
yards.
single one of his
I'm
kids.
guessing at this
But
point. So if somebody fact checks me, I could be completely wrong here.
I didn't hear me. Sorry.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said top 10 for every single one of his kids.
He's got more than 10.
He's got 11.
Oof,
He
oof.
can run a whole offense with his family.
Oh, oh. High school football team.
Yes.
Oh man.
All right. So Joe Flacco's not. I guess you could say his ring was carried because of that defense. All right. I wasn't very or I didn't wasn't very knowledgeable of the topic of Joe Flacco. All right. I wanted to sneak him in there because he dropped like 40 points in fantasy and he's a dog.
Let me put it this way. Would you put Russell Wilson in the Hall of Fame?
Not anymore.
Need I say more? Like, what's the difference between Joe Flacco and Russell Wilson?
Joe Flacco put up 40 points on the Colts.
Give Russell Wilson 10 years and bring him back. Then if he puts up 40 points, they'll be the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, Russell Wilson's probably how old is Russ? 33?
Ooh, that's a good question. How old is
I don't know. How long does that dude expect to play? Um,
35?
so he's only 4 years younger than Joe Flacco.
Isn't Aaron Rodgers the oldest player in the league?
No, Joe Flacco's is he 39? No, he's got to be in his 40s. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the oldest active player in the NFL, I
Joe
believe.
Flacco is 39.
He is 39. I thought he was in his 40s. So yeah, Russell Wilson's 4 years younger. That's wild.
Hold on. Hang on, I'm doing a little background check right now.
On what? What are we looking at?
You know who Tom Flacco is?
No, I don't know who Tom Flacco is.
Me neither. I thought it was his kid, but it's not. I got
Is it,
excited.
is it his dad?
No, he's a 29-year-old.
Okay, yeah, I don't
All
know
right,
who Tom.
sidetrack. Nobody cares about Tom Flacco.
Yeah, that was a dead zone in the podcast. Nobody was
Sorry,
listening to that.
sorry,
We just
guys.
lost
Sorry.
like all of our followers.
Ah, look up Tom Flacco, guys.
Um, Going to the Jets news that I
Mm,
briefly brought up. Are you surprised by the Robert
no,
Saleh news? You're
no,
not.
no.
Why not?
Jets suck, dude.
Yeah, but the Jets defense is like the second best defense in the NFL, and that was Robert Saleh's side of the ball.
All right, if I'm being honest, I don't pay attention to the Jets because they don't win. So, if all right, hear me out. If you are the worst team in the league and you have the best defense in the league, doesn't matter.
Well, no.
All right. So he might be the second best defense in the league, but he's 2-2. Win some more games.
So you, by that logic, you think Mike Tomlin should be fired?
Should be fired. He's winning games. He's three
Don't
and
they
two.
aren't they both 3-2?
I'm pretty sure the Jets are. Oh wait, I said 2-2. Hang on, I have it right here. No, I don't. I looked up Tom Flacco
Look
instead.
that up for me. My point is the Jets offense has scored more touchdowns than the Steelers offense. The defenses are basically the same,
Jets are 2-3.
and the Steelers are 3-2.
Yep,
So if the Jets win one more game, Robert Saleh doesn't get fired.
I agree. Yeah, I
I
I
don't think he
want to
was.
win.
I think when is I'm asking so many questions right now. When's the Jets bye?
I'm taking a look.
So I'm wondering if they shouldn't have just waited till they got to the bye, unless
Jets
it's a
here.
late bye. I
It's
suppose you
not.
have to go ahead.
You keep speaking. I'm looking.
I'm trying to think of because I've heard a couple different opinions on why they did it now versus waiting. But like, I guess that we'll go into them. The couple reasons that I heard are one, you have the trade deadline coming up.
Hmm.
So that gives you the option to try and kind of get your team to rally around a new leader or coach or whatever for the final year. Just kind of like what they did with Antonio Pierce last year, how the Raiders kind of came together and got behind their coach and they started winning games later in the season. The Jets season technically isn't over yet. You know, the 2-3, you can still make the playoffs. You can still make a run. If they can get it the right person at the helm to gather the team around, they can make a run for it. This is probably this no, this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last season. I don't believe he's going to be coming back next year, and if he does, it won't be for the Jets. Um, so I think they go all in. Also, the GM, if it doesn't work out this season, the GM is going to get fired. So it gives me a reason to believe that the GM was kind of in on getting Robert Saleh out, getting somebody in the team could get behind, and then they could go all in before the trade deadline, trade
Hmm.
for Devontae Adams. They have the cap space for it. They go and get them. They try and make a run for it because then at the end of the day, if the GM gets fired, what does he care if they give up draft picks and players and stuff like that? You know what I mean? He's not on the team anymore. So he can kind of throw all his chips in for this one season, try and keep his job. And then if they win, he keeps his job and he can figure it out next year and whatever. At least he bought himself a year. And if he doesn't, he wipes his hand, cleans of it, and goes, well, they're not my draft picks to figure out what to deal with. So what do I care if I give them away? So those are kind of the two thought processes that I've heard about or heard people talking about of why this could have happened when it did. Um, the Jets are just a dumpster fire at the end of the day. So
Yeah, they have a week 12 bye.
yeah, so you couldn't have waited that long to make that decision.
No. So head coach replacements. I know I have one, and I'm guessing I think you might have the same one, but I have one.
For the Jets, like who is
Yeah.
going to take over the job?
Like after the season or like who's gonna come? My guy's gonna come in after the season if it were to be this guy.
It's going to be Ben Johnson.
Yep.
Just because they need to turn that offense around. So they're going to have to bring an offensive minded coach in. So it's either going to be Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick from the Texans.
I think it's Ben Johnson. That was my guy.
I could see it.
Ben Johnson's been amazing for the Lions. He a lot of teams, Seahawks are one of them, wanted him as a head coach last year, and he said, "No, I want to stay at the Lions." A lot of respect for him to do that. Now I think he's time for him to go get a head coaching job because he should be a head coach. He's an amazing offense coordinator, amazing offensive minded guy. I think he would extremely help the Jets. So I think he should be the Jets head coach.
I think I think it's kind of strange that we just automatically take good offense and defensive coordinators and say they're going to be a good head coach. Like, look, Robert Saleh is the perfect example. A good defensive coordinator coming over from the 49ers. He was never a good head coach, but he was a good defensive coordinator. I don't know why we just automatically assume that good coordinators become good head coaches. Like I feel like it's a personality thing and stuff that is off the field stuff that as fans we can't see, we can't gauge, we can't tell. It's all just
Yeah.
kind of interview stuff and who the person, the grit of the person, who the person really is. So I don't obviously we don't know Ben Johnson personally. We know what his productivity is on the field and we know that it's great. So that's good for the Jets, but does he know how to lead a team?
Yeah, that's true. I think that comes from just the past, right? Right now, this year, we see Mike McDonald. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah. I'm happy with it as a Seahawks fan. Yeah.
Dan Quinn, he's doing damn good.
He was a head coach before, so you knew he could. He took
That
a
is
kick.
true. That is
So
very true. But he was a head coach. I feel like Dan Quinn's been more successful as a defense coordinator than a head coach.
I think so too. I think he's just a good defensive minded person. So he once he has the only thing he has to worry about is the defense and the scheme. That's where he shines versus if he has to split up his time with all the other stuff, it's probably a little harder to focus on one or the other.
I 100% agree. Yeah. But I think it's just from the past, right? There's also a lot like I as you're talking there, I was thinking like where do head coaches come from? I think it's either a coordinator or they're coming from the college level, right? That's where John Harbaugh came from, college level.
Yeah, I think it's just that is the step, right? That's just like your next guy up is the offensive or defensive coordinator. It's just kind of how it goes. You're assistant coach, you work your way into a coordinator position, and then from coordinator, you work your way up to um, head coach. It's very rare that you see somebody not do that way. Like Antonio Pierce, Jared Mayo, both came from assistant roles instead of coordinator roles. I don't know if Dan Campbell was ever a coordinator before he got a head coaching job. So, I mean, it can be done. You just kind of, it's just not the process of how things have worked in the past, but
Yeah,
not to say it can't work.
definitely. Yeah, coaches. I feel like coaches are some of the most undervalued. I don't want to say positions, but I think they're. I honestly think you could count a coach as a position on the football field. I think they're a very undervalued position on the football field. I think a team is only so much without a coach. I think we definitely see that, for example, in the Eagles. We've used that many times before, but Eagles great roster. Coach isn't the best.
Yeah, I think we've kind of hit pretty hard on that, and I think it's extremely important and an opinion that a lot of people don't share is the coaching matters a lot more than people give it credit for or people think it does. So that's something we've stride home for. I guess branching off of that, what other coaching jobs do you think will become open by the end of the year, and then which one do you think would be the most high target or high like what am I trying to say here? Which one will the coaches want the most? The most high valued coaching job. That was a long way of not saying a whole
You're
lot.
saying like what positions in the league right now are going to open up, and who do I think is going to want to like
Yeah,
correct?
there's always like six head coaching jobs available at the end of each season.
Yeah.
What position is going to become available? Which one's going to be the best job opening?
Give me the Steelers head coaching position.
Do you think Mike Tomlin's going to be gone?
I think this is Mike Tomlin's last year.
There's no way.
No?
No,
All
no,
right. Give me the Steelers offensive coordinator.
no. I'm saying head coaching job.
Oh, well, all
Head
right.
coaching.
Real quick, Arthur Smith needs to get out of the league.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Arthur
No.
Smith needs to be booted. What is the shape of Italy? You know,
Ideal.
answer is a boot.
Oh,
He needs to get booted from the league. Ha ha. That was an knee slapper. All right. Head coaching position. Gee, who's got bad head coaches? Like Carolina,
they're not
right?
going to get rid of Dave Canales after 1 year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Browns. I'm
I don't want to be
thinking.
Browns head coach.
I'm just trying to think of teams that are going to have head coaching openings after this year. You got probably the Browns. You got maybe the Jaguars. You got hmm, the Bengals really tanked. Do you think the Bengals would move on?
No.
They look good though, so I don't anticipate it happening. I'm just
Eagles. You think they get rid of Nick Sirianni?
if they don't do well, I think the expectations are high. They have a playoff window right now that they have to take advantage of, and if they can't do it, they're going to move off of Nick Sirianni.
I think that's going to be my answer. I don't see the Eagles doing as good as they're expected, and I think Nick Sirianni gets fired, and that's the most wanted head coach position.
I was going to say the Jaguars. You
It's a
get
good
a
team.
you get a franchise quarterback. You get Brian Thomas, who looks like a star. You
I
got
love
some
Brian
good
Thomas.
pieces on the defense you can work with. I mean that looks like a decent team to start building with.
Yeah. Uh, Eagles, like I said, amazing
Yeah, I mean,
roster. Yeah. I would go Eagles, Jags there for sure. Those are two good teams that are, I would say, almost on the brink of being, I don't want to say contenders, but almost contenders.
yeah, they're both playoff rosters. It's just a matter of getting their stuff together, if you will.
I don't know if I call the Jags playoff roster.
They have the roster for it. You have a good running back, good quarterback, at least one good. You have two. You have
Who's the
three
second?
decent receivers:
Name
Gabe
them.
Davis, Brian Thomas, and Christian Kirk.
Who's the first one?
Brian, Gabe Davis.
Uh, uh, uh.
Like that's better than what Patrick Mahomes is working with.
Yeah. Okay. But Trevor Lawrence is no Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I don't disagree there. I'm just saying that offense as like a weapons group is better than a lot of teams.
Yeah,
Like
but
you,
what's their offensive line look like?
I don't know. I just break it down. It doesn't look that bad.
I couldn't name a single offensive lineman on that team.
Cam Robinson,
He's mid.
is Sheriff on that offensive line, or is he on the
Brendan
command?
Sherritt? He's on the
Yeah,
Commanders. He's on the Commanders.
is he still? Did he used to play for the Jaguars? Why am I thinking?
He used to play
All
for
right, all right, okay.
I'm
Is
looking
Luke
it up now.
Luke Jokel still over there?
No clue who that is. Oh, he's on the Jags right now.
Sheriff?
Yeah.
Yeah, is Luke Jokel over there too?
Dude, who is that?
I think he's the right tackle.
Jokel?
I don't. I could be pronouncing it wrong. His first name Luke, maybe.
I got a funny Luke jokes book coming up. So
No, no. Just look up the Jaguars right tackle because you got
Jags, right?
Cam Robinson's the left tackle.
I'm taking a look here. It's loading. Right tackle is Anton Harrison.
Oh yeah, duh. He's young though. He's pretty good too. See, their offensive line's not that bad.
That their offense line is not that bad.
So no excuse. Get a new head coach in there. Get that team turned around. Honestly, Ben Johnson to the Jaguars would be pretty cool. Or
Ooh.
Bobby Slowick. Just give me a good offensive coordinator to take over that offense.
Let the defense take care of themselves.
I could get behind that. I
Hey, little throwback to like 10 or 20 minutes ago. Ronald or no, never mind. I'm gonna shut up.
talking with Darby,
Yeah. Did he
different
change
corner,
his name?
different guy.
It's a different guy. I know ball. I know ball.
It's all right. Me too. Sometimes.
They have the same like last name.
I,
All right, with that, I think it's time to end this episode. I know ball, guys, I promise.
We know ball caption.
Yeah, we know ball. That might actually be that's gonna be the title.
There you go. Clickbait.
We know
Lied
ball.
to him, but we didn't tell him till at the very end.
We know ball. If you made it this far, now you know why it's named We Know Ball. All right.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. We'll definitely see you guys next week, next Tuesday. Take two podcasts, always on Tuesdays, except for one time when Jameson can't make it. Um, anyways, thank you guys for coming in, watching, giving us some support. Definitely give us a comment down below, like, subscribe, feedback, anything. We'll take anything. Feedback, your opinion, telling us that we suck, man. We'll take it. We'll appreciate anything. We're very appreciative people. And best thing is, we know ball.
We know ball.
See you guys.
Peace out.